stressing me out right now.
All right, pack the back, bro. Pack
Don't talk to me like that. I don't have time.
No.
You got no tattoos?
Are you hoe?
Yeah, I was once a hoe. I mean, yeah, you know, I have my dealings.
Blueface went live, and baby, the internet did not just tune in. It clocked in for overtime with snacks, screenshots, and full investigative spirit. 1 minute, people were scrolling like normal humans, and the next minute, the whole timeline turned into a crime scene with ring lights, accusations, and everybody suddenly acting like they graduated from the FBI Academy of Messy Relationships. And Blueface, already known for turning drama into a full-contact sport, looked like he had just opened a message so dangerous it needed a warning label, a helmet, and maybe a prayer circle. Because apparently, this girl's little secret did not stay little for long. It stepped outside, stretched its legs, grabbed a microphone, and started doing a press tour across the internet. And once that secret got exposed, Blueface did what Blueface does best. He crashed out in real time like somebody, unplugged his patience, deleted his filter, and handed his emotions a flamethrower. The live was not giving calm conversation. It was giving Zoo's reunion, parking lot argument, group chat explosion, and reality show finale all squeezed into one chaotic broadcast. Fans were watching like, wait, did he just say that? While others were already screen recording so fast, their thumbs probably needed medical attention. The comments were flying, the reactions were nasty, and the theories started multiplying like unpaid bills. Some people said he was hurt, some said he was embarrassed. Some said he was just mad the secret got exposed before he could control the story. But either way, the man was not sitting there peacefully sipping tea. He was the tea, the kettle, the stove and the smoke alarm screaming in the background. And the wildest part is, nobody even knows if the full truth has dropped yet. Because every time this situation looks like it has reached the final level of embarrassment, another detail pops up like a villain in a Marvel post-credit scene. Now fans are asking who knew what, how long it had been hidden, and why Blue reacted like this secret hit harder than a WWE chair shot. But just when everyone thought the live had already revealed too much, Blueface said something that made the whole internet freeze. The whole situation started the way most internet disasters start, with somebody acting too comfortable, somebody else watching too closely, and the timeline sitting there like a security camera with Wi-Fi. Blueface's relationship drama has never been quiet, private, or even slightly normal. So, the second whispers started moving around about his girl having a secret. People did not need a formal announcement. They smelled chaos in the air, like smoke from a barbecue that nobody admitted they started. At first, it was just little comments, shady reactions, and those tiny clues that fans love turning into documentaries before breakfast. Somebody noticed a look. Somebody caught a deleted post. Somebody slowed down a clip like they were analyzing airport surveillance footage. And suddenly, everyone had a theory. The internet does not need much to build a full courtroom. Just give them one awkward pause, one suspicious caption, and one person acting weird on live, and they will build a whole Netflix series by lunchtime. Blueface, meanwhile, had been moving, like he was trying to stay cool, but the cracks were already showing. You could tell something was sitting heavy on his face, because he had that look people get when they know a secret is crawling toward daylight and they cannot stop it. He was not fully explaining anything, but he was dropping enough energy for fans to know the vibes were off. And when Blueface's vibes are off, the internet grabs popcorn like a national emergency alert just went out. Then the messy buildup started getting louder. And this is where the scandal began, growing legs, arms, and a publicist. People started saying his girl had been hiding something that could change the whole way fans looked at their situation. Some were calling it betrayal, some were calling it embarrassment, and others were saying everybody involved was playing a dangerous game of emotional dodgeball. But the one thing nobody could deny was that the tension was getting thicker than a Zeus backstage hallway after somebody says, "Run the cameras." The first clues did not hit like one giant explosion. They came in pieces, which honestly made it worse, because every new piece gave the internet something else to twist, stretch, and scream about. A comment here, a rumor there, a screenshot floating around with no clear source but maximum damage. And of course, once people started connecting the dots, they did not wait for confirmation. They started acting like the case was closed, framed, and already available on streaming. What made everything even messier was that Blueface's name already comes with a built-in chaos subscription. People do not watch him expecting peace, healing, and gentle emotional communication. They watch knowing one wrong sentence can turn into a public meltdown. 3 response videos and somebody's aunt going live from the kitchen. So when this new secret started bubbling up, fans were not shocked that drama arrived. They were shocked at how fast it went from background noise to full-blown digital warfare. And then came the live, the moment that turned whispers into sirens. Blueface did not just pop on camera looking irritated. He looked like somebody had handed him proof, betrayal, and disrespect all in the same envelope. His tone was sharp, his patience was gone, and the energy felt like a man trying to decide whether to expose everything or hold just enough to keep people begging for more. That is when viewers knew this was not regular relationship drama. This was public embarrassment with a front row seat. The comments started moving like a slot machine. And every viewer became a judge, detective, therapist, and comedian at the same time. Some fans were laughing because the situation was too messy not to laugh. Others were cringing because it felt like watching somebody's private life fall down the stairs in slow motion. And then you had the loyal defenders acting like Blueface was simply reacting to disrespect, while the critics were saying he looked more embarrassed than betrayed. Either way, nobody was neutral. As he talked, people started realizing the secret was not just some tiny misunderstanding. It had weight. It had history. It had that dangerous kind of energy where one exposed detail suddenly makes old moments look different. Fans began replaying past clips, old arguments, and suspicious interactions, trying to figure out whether the signs had been sitting in everyone's face the whole time. And that is when the internet got truly dangerous, because once people start saying, "Wait, remember when?" the scandal officially becomes a group project. The girl at the center of everything became the focus immediately, because fans wanted to know what she knew, what she hid, and why Blueface reacted like the truth personally kicked his door down. Some people accused her of moving sneaky. Others said Blueface was just reacting dramatically because the internet found out before he could package the story his way. And honestly, that is what made this so explosive. It was not just about the secret itself. It was about control, image, ego, and who got exposed first. The timeline split into teams instantly, because the internet cannot watch drama without choosing jerseys. One side said Blueface had every right to lose it if his girl really had something hidden that made him look foolish. Another side said he was being theatrical, turning pain into performance because the cameras were on and attention was available. Then the third side, the messiest side, did not care who was right at all. They were just there for screenshots, sound bites, and whatever chaos came next. And baby, the memes wasted no time. People were comparing Blueface's reaction to a man, finding out the group chat had been laughing at him for weeks. Others said he looked like he had just discovered the final boss level of relationship embarrassment. Somebody joked that the secret did not get exposed. It escaped custody. And the funniest part was that every joke made the situation spread faster. Because once a scandal becomes meme material, there is no turning back. It belongs to the internet now. But underneath all the jokes, the tension was real. Because Blueface's reaction made people wonder what was still being hidden. He was mad, yes. But there was also something in the way he spoke that made fans feel like more details were sitting behind the curtain. It did not feel like a simple argument. It felt like the first chapter of something bigger, the kind of mess where everyone involved knows the truth is ugly, But nobody wants to be the first person to say the ugliest part out loud. That is why the live felt like NETFLIX episode 1 of a scandal nobody planned, but everybody watched. You had the mysterious secret, the public crash out. So the confused fans, the shady clues, and the emotional tension already boiling over. Blueface was not just reacting to a rumor. He was reacting like someone who believed the exposure changed the whole game. And whether he was hurt, angry, embarrassed, or all three at once, he gave the internet exactly what it needed to turn this into a full-blown viral storm. By the end of the live, the damage was already done. The secret had moved from whispers to headlines. Blueface's reaction had become the main event, and his girl's name was being dragged through every corner of the timeline. But the most dangerous part was not what had already been said. Was what people thought was coming next? Because once Blueface starts talking with that kind of energy, fans know he is either about to calm down or make the situation 10 times worse. And judging by his face, calm was not on the menu. Now once Blueface's live started spreading. The internet did not just react. It exploded like somebody threw a match into a room full of receipts. Clips were flying from page to page. Captions were getting more dramatic by the minute. And every gossip account was acting like they had exclusive access to the emotional crime scene. One page said he looked betrayed. Another said he looked embarrassed. And another basically treated the whole thing like a federal investigation with background music. By the time people finished reposting the first clip, the scandal already had more versions than a Kardashian breakup timeline. And of course, fans did what fans always do when drama gets spicy. They started choosing sides with zero hesitation and maximum disrespect. Some were saying Blueface finally got a taste of his own chaotic medicine, like the universe pulled up with a receipt book and said, "Sign here, sir." Others were defending him, claiming nobody reacts that intensely unless something truly foul happened behind the scenes. Then there were the people laughing from the balcony, not because they were heartless, but because this whole situation looked like a Zeus reunion special filmed during a power outage. The celebrity reactions made everything even louder, because once people with blue checks start commenting, the mess gets dressed up like breaking news. A few entertainers dropped vague laughing emojis, which was basically their way of saying, "I saw it. I'm not saying too much, but I am absolutely seated." Others posted shady little quotes about loyalty, secrets, and karma, and fans immediately connected every single sentence back to Blueface. This point, even a random post about trust issues looked like it belonged in the scandal timeline. The contradictions were what really turned this into internet fuel, because nobody could agree on what the secret actually meant. One minute people were saying his girl had been exposed for moving, sneaky, and the next minute someone else was claiming Blueface already knew more than he was admitting. Then another group popped up saying the whole reaction looked calculated, like he was using the drama to take control of the narrative before anybody else could embarrass him further. So now the audience was not just watching a crash out. They were watching a mystery with bad communication and loud Wi-Fi. And baby, the memes were disrespectful enough to need parental guidance. People compared Blueface's reaction to a WWE wrestler finding out the referee was dating his opponent. Others said the secret hit him like Thanos collecting the final Infinity Stone. Except instead of wiping out half the universe, it wiped out his ability to stay calm on live. Somebody made a joke that his girl's secret did not come out. It kicked the door open wearing sunglasses and asked who wanted smoke. The jokes were brutal, but they also made the scandal impossible to ignore. Meanwhile, fans were digging through old videos like unpaid interns at a gossip museum, trying to find clues that suddenly looked suspicious. A side-eye from 2 months ago became evidence. A deleted caption became motive. A random silence during a live became a confession, according to people who have never met any of these folks in real life. That is the dangerous part about internet drama. Once the crowd believes something is hidden, every ordinary moment starts looking like a secret code written in glitter and bad decisions. Blueface's reaction kept getting replayed because people were trying to read his face like a court document. Some said his anger looked too personal, like he had been sitting on humiliation and finally snapped when the world found out. Others said he looked more performative than wounded, like he knew the cameras were rolling and decided to turn the pain into prime-time entertainment. But that is the complicated thing about Blueface. With him, hurt and performance sometimes walk into the room wearing the same outfit. And fans have to guess which one is driving. Then came the outrage, because no viral scandal is complete until the internet starts acting like it has moral authority and unlimited phone battery. People were furious about the possible betrayal, furious about the public reaction, furious about the disrespect, and somehow furious about the memes too. Some viewers said exposing private relationship issues on live was messy and immature, while others argued that once somebody hides something major, they cannot complain when the truth starts doing cartwheels online. It became less about the secret and more about how ugly things get when ego meets. Embarrassment. The wildest part was how quickly everyone started rewriting the whole relationship story in real time. Moments that once looked romantic suddenly looked suspicious. Arguments that once seemed random now looked like warning signs. Even quiet periods between them were being treated like missing chapters in a scandal. Novel nobody asked for, but everybody kept reading. It was giving Kardashian-level relationship reconstruction, where one exposed detail makes the audience go back 3 seasons and say, wait, so that scene meant something completely different. And then the fan theories started getting more dramatic than the actual live, which is saying a lot. Some claimed Blueface's girl had been hiding information that could damage his image, while others suggested people around them knew and stayed quiet. A few went even further, saying this was not just a secret, but a setup waiting to blow up at the perfect moment. The internet loves a conspiracy, especially when it comes with facial expressions, deleted posts, and somebody yelling on camera like the Wi-Fi owes them an apology. What made the situation even messier was that nobody involved seemed fully in control anymore. Blueface may have started the live, but once the clips hit the timeline, the audience grabbed the steering wheel and drove the story straight into a ditch. His girl became the villain for some, the victim for others, and the mystery character for everyone still trying to figure out what was actually true. Every repost added a new angle. Every comment added a new accusation. And every reaction made the scandal feel bigger than the last. The Seuss comparisons were everywhere, because the drama had that same chaotic energy where everybody is yelling, nobody is listening, and the camera somehow catches the worst possible moment. People said the live felt like a reunion table flip without the table. Others said it had backstage fight energy, like somebody was about to walk in wearing lashes, fury, and no desire for peace. And honestly, the comparison fit, because the whole thing had that messy reality TV rhythm where truth, performance, and pure foolishness are all fighting for screen time. But underneath the jokes and viral edits, I think there was a real emotional sting that fans could not ignore. Blueface looked like someone who felt exposed, not just because of what his girl allegedly hid, but because the public now had access to his reaction. That is a different kind of humiliation, because when you crash out privately, maybe 2 people know. But when you crash out on live, the whole internet becomes a witness, a jury, and a meme factory with no closing hours. That is why this moment hit differently. The contradictions kept stacking because every new detail made the old ones shakier. People who first blamed his girl started questioning whether Blueface had been ignoring red flags. People who mocked Blueface started wondering if he actually had a reason to be that upset. Then others argued both sides were messy, and the only innocent party was whoever screen recorded the live in HD. The scandal had become a messy triangle of blame. denial, and embarrassment, with the audience standing around it like sports commentators. At the Super Bowl of bad decisions. By this point, the story was no longer about one secret. It became about reputation, pride, and who gets to control the narrative when private chaos turns public. Blueface wanted to speak, but every word seemed to create 3 more questions. His girl stayed under heavy internet pressure, but silence only made people speculate harder. And the more everyone tried to figure out what really happened, the more the situation started feeling like a Marvel multiverse of mess, where every possible version was dramatic, embarrassing, and somehow still not the final twist. So as the clips kept spreading and the reactions kept piling up, one thing became painfully clear. This was not slowing down. The Live had turned into a launchpad. The secret had become a storyline. And the internet had already decided this drama deserved multiple episodes. Blueface's anger gave the scandal its fire. The girl's alleged secret gave it mystery. And the fans gave it oxygen by refusing to let it breathe in peace. But right when everyone thought the chaos had peaked, other details started circulating. Suddenly, the whole story looked even darker. It was just floating around the timeline wearing sunglasses and pretending the damage was normal. Blueface's Liv had already done what a Liv always does when somebody loses their emotional brakes. It turned one private mess into public property. Now every fan, every critic, every gossip page, and every bored person with screen recording space had a piece of the disaster. Saved like evidence in a digital courtroom. The aftermath hit fast. Because once the internet decides somebody has been exposed, there is no quiet recovery. His girl's reputation started taking hits from every direction, with people questioning her loyalty, her story, her silence, and even her facial expressions in old clips. One side said she got caught slipping and should have known secrets do not survive long around cameras. Another side argued that Blueface was making everything louder because embarrassment always screams louder than heartbreak when the whole internet is watching. And Blueface's reputation was not exactly sitting in a luxury spa either. Some fans said he looked genuinely hurt, like the secret had cut deeper than he wanted to admit. But others said his reaction made him look unstable, dramatic, and too eager to turn private pain into public entertainment. That is the problem with crashing out online. Even when people believe you have a reason, they still judge how you act. The truth can be ugly, but the reaction can become its own scandal. Then the alliances started shifting. Because drama this messy always makes people pick new positions like chairs in a collapsing game show. People who were defending his girl started getting quieter once more details floated around. People who were laughing at Blueface suddenly started saying maybe he knew something serious. Even the fans who normally ride with him had to pause because the live was giving anger, confusion, pride, and panic all at once. Nobody knew whether to comfort him, clown him, or ask for part 2. The public confusion only got worse because every version of the story sounded halfway believable and completely insane at the same time. One theory claimed his girl had been hiding something from the beginning. Another theory said Blueface already knew but lost it because the public found out. A third theory said the whole situation was being pushed by outside people who wanted the relationship to explode on camera. And honestly, at this point, the internet had built more plot lines than a Marvel franchise with trust issues. But the emotional fallout was what made this feel bigger than regular gossip. You could feel the embarrassment sitting underneath the jokes because nobody likes looking foolish in front of millions. Blueface may play tough, loud, and reckless, but even loud people can get hit by quiet humiliation. His girl may try to stay silent or act unbothered, but silence does not protect anybody once the internet starts filling in the blanks. And those blanks were getting filled with rumors, sarcasm, and full-volume disrespect. Then came the consequences. And they were not cute. The relationship started looking less like a bond and more like a collapsing stage where every step made another piece fall off. Trust looked damaged. public image looked bruised. The fans looked exhausted but still entertained, which is the most toxic combination in online drama. People were not just asking what happened anymore. They were asking whether this couple could ever come back from a secret that made Blueface lose control in front of everybody. The most dangerous part was that the story kept changing shape. At first, it looked like Blueface was simply mad about his girl's secret. Then it started looking like the secret connected to older issues, old suspicions, and moments people had ignored before. Suddenly, fans were treating every past clip like a deleted scene from a crime documentary. Old smiles looked fake. Old arguments looked planned. Old silences looked suspicious. The internet did not just watch the aftermath. It rewrote the entire history. And while everyone was busy dragging, defending, laughing, and investigating, one unexpected revelation started creeping into the conversation. Some fans began saying the real issue was not just what she allegedly hid, but who else might have known before Blueface did. That changed the whole temperature. Because if people around them knew and stayed quiet, then this was not just a relationship scandal anymore. It was a loyalty collapse, a circle problem, and a public embarrassment wrapped in one messy little package. That possibility made Blueface's life look different. Maybe he was not only reacting to his girl, maybe he was reacting to the idea that people close to the situation had been watching him look unaware, while the truth sat in the corner eating popcorn. And if that is the case, then the anger suddenly makes more sense, even if the delivery was still pure chaos. Nobody wants to find out they were the last person invited to the truth, especially when the whole internet gets the invitation first by the end. The situation had season finale energy written all over it. Reputations were dented, trust was hanging. By a thread, alliances were looking shaky. And the audience was still demanding more, like this was a paid subscription to emotional disaster. Blueface's live may have started as a reaction, but it ended as a warning shot. Because once secrets start leaking and people start talking, the next chapter usually gets uglier, louder, and way more personal. And here is where the final twist comes in. What if the secret that sent Blueface over the edge is not even the biggest secret in the room? What if that live was not the collapse, but just the preview? Because now fans are saying more names may be connected. More receipts may surface, and somebody close to the situation might be ready to talk. So while everyone is focused on Blueface losing it, the real question is simple. Who is about to get exposed next? Now listen, if your jaw is still on the floor, go ahead and pick it up before the next update drops, because this Blueface situation is clearly not finished acting ridiculous. Every time the internet thinks the mess has reached the final level, another detail crawls out like it paid rent in the drama house. So smash that like button like it owes you money, your peace, and an apology for making you witness this emotional circus in HD. And don't just sit there silently judging like you are not entertained, because we both know you already formed an opinion halfway through the crash out. Drop your thoughts in the comments and tell me who you think is really wrong here. Was Blueface reacting like a man who got blindsided? Or was he doing what he always does, turning pain into a performance with front row tickets for the timeline? Also, subscribe before this story grows 3 more heads and starts chasing everybody involved around the internet. Because if more receipts drop, more lives happen, or somebody close to the situation finally starts talking. You already know we are pulling up with the breakdown, the sarcasm, and the side eye. This is Secret Scoop, where the drama gets exposed, the mess gets decoded, and the truth never leaves quietly.